Thank you. Please be seated. Good evening and welcome to the commencement exercises for the Auburn High School graduating class of 2011. And welcome to the first ever graduation of Auburn High School in our beautiful arena, and we're very fortunate to be here tonight. Seniors, this is your night to celebrate, and there are many people here to celebrate with you. And I would like to formally express appreciation to some of those tonight. To our Mayor, Bill Ham, to the Auburn City Council, to the Auburn City Board of Education, the Auburn City Schools Central Office Administration and staff, the many outstanding teachers and staff in all of our schools, and the faculty and staff of Auburn High School, and all of these contribute to high expectations set forth for you and represent many of the accomplishments and the grounding that you have had to get here. So we thank them all. Seniors, as you prepare to graduate tonight, I want to tell you it's an honor and a privilege to stand before you as your principal. And on behalf of the staff of Auburn High School, I wish you best wishes and a warm congratulations on this evening. Before we proceed with tonight's ceremonies, I would like to introduce the person sitting on the stage this evening. Please stand as I call your name, and audience, please hold your applause until the completion of the introductions. Superintendent of Auburn City Schools, Dr. Terry Jenkins. Auburn City Schools Board members, President Mrs. Laura Cooper, Vice President Mr. David Strobel, Mr. Matthew Clegg, Reverend Clifford Jones, Mrs. Tracy West. The Auburn City Schools Secondary Teacher of the Year, Mrs. Rebecca Balcom. The Auburn City Schools Elementary Teacher of the Year, Mrs. Christy Weeks. Auburn High School Assistant Principals, Mrs. Susan Hoseman, Mr. Clay McCall, Mr. Anthony Jeter, and Mr. Ross Reed. Auburn High School Guidance Counselors, Mrs. Cynthia Collier, Dr. Cassie Fairley, Mrs. Tiffany Pitts, Mrs. Nicole Warren. And the principals of Auburn City Schools, Mrs. Janet Johnson, Mrs. Debbie Brooks, Mrs. Jackie Greenwood, Dr. Mariana Martin Smith, Mrs. Debbie Smith, Mrs. Linda Tremaine, Mr. Pete Forrester, Ms. Deborah Beebe, and Dr. Jason Wright. Thank you for all being here tonight. Seniors, I would like for you to show your appreciation and welcome to the podium your senior class sponsor, Mr. Blake Busman.
Parents, guests, seniors, teachers, this class has been an outstanding group of seniors, and we appreciate the support that everyone here has given these seniors throughout their whole entire course of education. We hope that this support continues as they move beyond high school. To you, the graduates, as you prepare to depart from Auburn High, know that it's been very special to me to serve you as both your senior class sponsor and, more importantly, as your teacher. On behalf of the faculty and staff at Auburn High School, I congratulate you on a job well done. I would like to thank some specific individuals who have helped make this senior year a successful one for both you as well as for me. Our senior class advisors, who have been with all of you throughout this year, who have just been with you in the hallways, helping line you up, with you once a month, at least once a month, giving you the information you need. If our senior advisors would please stand. Thank you. And more importantly, the 4 individuals that you as a class chose to lead you through this senior year. Our treasurer, Sydney Potter, if you'll please stand. Secretary, Ashley Jeter. Vice President, Melissa Reynolds. And lastly, your president, Mr. Courtney Bass, who will now deliver I'd like to invite Mr. Courtney Bass to the podium to deliver his commencement address.
Good evening to the members of the Board of Education, Superintendent Dr. Jenkins, Principal Dr. Friedman, AHS faculty and staff, fellow students, families, and friends. I stand here with great honor and appreciation to represent my class, the class of 2011, on this joyous occasion. Today is the day. The last 18 years of our lives have been filled with ups and downs, and through it all, we've continued to follow that rainbow in the sky. And classmates, today is the day that we found that pot of gold at the very end. Just 4 years ago, we were all awkward preteens beginning our high school journey at the Auburn Junior High School. Doesn't that sound just right? It was at that time we believed that those 4 years would be the longest of our lives. But as I stand here today, I can tell you that those 4 years went by just like days. 13 years of school, including kindergarten for most of us, completed in the blink of an eye. 18 years of life in just one day to graduate. So I say congratulations to the class of 2011. We made it. Because we did not do this alone, I would like for the teachers, parents, grandparents, and siblings to please stand and be recognized. You have helped us reach this tremendous milestone in our lives. You have helped us reach this tremendous milestone in our lives, and for this, we are forever grateful. Most of you are already seated, but if not, you can be seated at this time. The Auburn High School class of 2011 has always and will continue to strive for excellence, academically, artistically, and athletically. Our class has achieved so many accomplishments, but I will only mention a few. This year alone, we were honored to have 7 National Merit finalists and a National Achievement finalist. The AHS Choral Department had great success in their competition season as the varsity singers placed grand champion 2 times. Our very own Caitlin Judd received top honors in the stage makeup portion of the state Trumbauer drama competitions. 2-time state poetry out loud champion Yusuf Diaz competed and received the first place at the National Poetry Out Loud competition. The men's and women's soccer teams qualified for the state tournament, with the women's team advancing to the Final Four. The softball team was named area champions and also advanced to the regional tournament. The AHS football team finished regular season play with a record of 11-1. The baseball team topped their season off winning the area tournament and advancing to the second round of the state tournament. Megan Molnar, our dynamic swimmer, set 2 state records, 2, 500-yard freestyle and 100-yard breaststroke. Desney Scaife, defending state champion, competed this year and is now 2-time state champion in the event of long jumping. So I say congratulations to each of you and to all others that represented our class of 2011. As children, we were always taught to work, that hard work pays off. We've worked so hard that the class of 2011 will be represented across the United States. As far west as Pepperdine University and the University of Southern California, as far north as Cornell University and Yale University, as far east as Wake Forest University and the University of Virginia, and others will remain in the state of Alabama to attend schools as Southern Union State Community College, the University of Alabama, and where most of us will attend, Auburn University, War Eagle, or other great institutions within our state. We have student athletes who will continue their athletic careers attending great institutions such as Hampton University, Wiley College, Delta State University, University of Alabama at Huntsville, Daytona State University, and many, many more. I am proud to announce that the class of 2011 has received over $5.7 million in grants and scholarships. This is a great reflection of our hard work and the work of our teachers who prepared us for this academic success. As we receive our diplomas tonight, many of us might think it's the end, but in actuality, it's only the beginning. Reaching this pot of gold signifies that the end of this particular rainbow, but each of us will start tomorrow on a new one, whether it's enrolling in college, starting your military career, or going into the workforce and starting a job. We should all remember that a successful life is backed by further learning. So ideally placed to learn more and place the knowledge and skills to amazing use. Amongst us will be outstanding people of professions, vocations, and employment, and amazing entrepreneurs. As children, we always want to have some control over what we do tomorrow, and the time has finally come. We have the power to choose our destiny. Scary, right? Yeah, you scared. It will be the first time many of us are away from our families, including parents, grandparents, and friends. Things may initially be tough. You may be in a new environment. You may experience being homesick, overwhelmed, or stressed, but remember what brought you through the previous storms. There's a quote that I've carried with me as I've visited various places over these past couple of summers by Arthur Anthony J. D'Angelo, which states, "Wherever you go, no matter what the weather, always bring your own sunshine." It simply means no matter where you are or what you're faced with, be confident, because for 18 years, your parents have built the foundation in which you stand. And for the last 13 years, your teachers have given you the necessary tools to build upon it. Always remember, a house is only as strong as its foundation. So no matter what obstacles you're faced with, never allow anything to crack your foundation. As long as your foundation is strong, you'll be able to stand tall, walk straight, and continue to build yourself and face challenges head on. In closing, I will leave you with a quote by the great Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He says, "If a man is called to be a street sweeper, he should sweep those streets even as Michelangelo painted, or Beethoven composed music, or as Shakespeare wrote poetry. He should sweep streets so well that the hosts of the heaven and earth shall pause to say, 'There lived a great street sweeper who did his job well.'" So Auburn High School, class of 2011, leave here today believing in your heart that you will be the best at whatever you choose to be, because your parents, your grandparents, your teachers, and yourself have prepared you for this moment. As we depart, I look forward to seeing each and every one of you, reconnecting with you during our future class reunions as we reminisce, reflect, and cherish the memories of dear old Auburn High. Thank you.
Every day sea, I walk the rain. No, tonight would end the same. Never say not good enough. Keep the faith, keep looking up. Never doubt just how high. Trust your wings, don't close your eyes. If I could live without the fear of knowing what I don't want to hear, I learned to laugh, I learned to cry, I'd be who I am with nothing to hide. Never say not good enough. Keep the faith, keep looking up. Never doubt just how high. Trust your wings, don't close your eyes. We keep on pretending this is just alright. Should we wait to live until we arrive? Never say not good enough. Keep the faith, keep looking up. Never doubt just how high. Trust your wings, don't close your eyes. Trust your wings, don't close your
Mr. Smith and the Auburn Choral Company never disappoint. Perfect pitch, perfect harmony. You were wonderful tonight. Thank you. It was moving as always. Well, good evening, graduates. I never tire of this moment, looking out at a sea of royal blue and white, beautiful every time. High school graduations are unique among the milestones of our lives. They celebrate our past accomplishments while also propelling us to our futures. Just think, your future. The prospect is both exhilarating and daunting as you move from high school to the next station in life. This diploma will open doors for you, whether you're going to college, to the military, or to the workforce. You've worked methodically and have accomplished what you set out to do more than a decade ago. I did a little research and found that your generation is reputed to be very hardworking. You can expect to have at least 5 jobs or career changes over the course of your lifetime. You will be the best educated, most tolerant generation that America has ever produced. A new spirit of volunteerism is also characteristic of your generation, and your class is an example of this. So many of you are active in community service, from raising money for cancer research to raising money and selling bricks for Plainsview High School in Rainsville to help in the tornado relief efforts. Your generation has been described as goal-oriented, talented, and involved. A group that is compassionate and caring, but with a flair for the dramatic, as your president just showed us. If the Auburn High School class of 2011 is any indication of what to expect from your generation, I, for one, expect and predict greatness. As you are probably aware, Auburn High School is consistently ranked among the very best high schools across the nation. This year, more than 1,100 advanced placement and international baccalaureate tests were given. This is a feat that we can all take great pride in. This year, we produced 24 AP scholars, 11 AP scholars with honors, and 3 AP scholars with distinction. Quite a list. Let's applaud. Mr. Bass has already indicated where our students will be represented from the East Coast to the West Coast, North and South. 3 of our seniors were offered full military scholarships. And as Courtney mentioned, as of today, you have been offered over $5.7 million in scholarship offers. And there's more. You also produced a record-setting number with 7 National Merit finalists, 4 National Merit commended students, and 1 National Achievement semifinalist. And lest I forget to mention, as Courtney already has, one of you, young Mr. Baez, won the National Championship for Poetry Recitation and recently honored all of us by reciting a poem for the President and Mrs. Obama at our nation's capital. A poetry man indeed. Let's give Mr. Baez a hand. On another note, it's been another stellar year for Auburn High School athletics. I'm going to repeat some of what Courtney mentioned, and I think I'll add a few hits as I go. He mentioned that our football program won the regional championship for the 3rd year in a row. Yay. I just love seeing our boys out there in that royal blue and white. I just love them working out before the game. They look so good. Coach Carter does an amazing job with them. Our volleyball program won the area championship and were regional runners-up. In cross country, our boys and girls teams won the sectionals and advanced to the state meet. In track and field, you already heard that Miss Desney Scaife won the state long jump champion 2 years in a row. In wrestling, we had 7 wrestlers go to the state championships, and senior Michael Jordan, no, not the one that played for the Bulls, our own Michael Jordan, won his 2nd consecutive state championship. Yay, Michael. Our storied baseball program won the area championship for the 3rd straight year. In tennis, our boys won the sectional tournament and finished 3rd at state tournament. They also brought home the Sportsmanship Award from the state. Now I ask you, audience, how many high schools in the state have bragging rights on both brains and bronze? Worthy of applause, wouldn't you agree? Let's give them a hand. Seniors, there are many definitions of success, but I don't think you can really lead a successful life if it does not involve helping others. The late physician, philosopher, and humanitarian, Dr. Albert Schweitzer, was passionate about youth and their role in shaping the future. While addressing an audience of young people, Dr. Schweitzer is quoted to have said, "I don't know what your destiny will be, but one thing I know. The only ones among you who will be really happy are the ones who've sought and found how to serve others." Just as you have benefited by living in Auburn, where the community has supported you and insisted on excellent schools, I hope you will give back one day and insist that children, wherever you live, have good schools and opportunities to excel just as you have. You will be challenged throughout your life to do for others, and I hope you will accept that challenge. I read a poignant story that I thought would be appropriate for tonight about a man named Charles Plum, a U.S. Naval Academy graduate and a jet fighter pilot during the Vietnam War. After many missions, Officer Plum's plane was destroyed by a surface-to-air missile. After ejecting and parachuting safely to the ground, he was captured by the North Vietnamese and spent the next 6 years in a POW camp. He returned home when the war ended. In his book, Insights to Excellence, Plum describes one night sitting with his wife in a restaurant after his return. He says, "A man about 2 tables away kept looking at me. I didn't recognize him. A few minutes into our meal, he stood up and walked over to our table, looked down at me and said, 'You're Plum.' I looked up, puzzled but nodded. He said, 'You flew fighter jets in Vietnam. You were on the aircraft carrier Kitty Hawk. You were shot down. You parachuted into enemy hands and spent 6 years as a prisoner of war.' I asked, 'How in the world did you know that?' He replied, 'I packed your parachute.' I got to my feet and held out my hand. I was speechless, but he simply nodded as he pumped my arm and said, 'I guess it worked.'" Plum continued to say, "I didn't get much sleep that night. I kept thinking about that man. I kept wondering what he might have looked like all those years ago. I wondered how many times I might have passed him on board the Kitty Hawk. I wondered how many times I may have seen him and not even said good morning, because after all, I was a fighter pilot and he was just a sailor. How many hours did he spend on that long wooden table in the bowels of that ship, weaving the shrouds and folding the silks of those chutes? I could have cared less until one day it was my jump, my fall through thousands of feet of open air, my life upheld by the care with which he did his daily job." I think Plum raises the important question for the rest of us. And tonight, I want to ask you, seniors, who packed your parachute, making it possible for you to be part of this graduation? Many of them are here tonight celebrating your success. They are the people who loved and nurtured you, believed in you, made you think, and expected your best. Whether it's a parent, a grandparent, a guardian, a teacher, a coach, a friend, or all of the above, be sure to say thank you. In fact, seniors, let's salute those people again by giving them an applause. Thank you. Our seniors wouldn't be here tonight without your support. The great American poet Maya Angelou said these words, "I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel." I hope that each of you will have warm memories from this night. We will never forget how this class of 2011 made us all feel. And now for the 2 words that our graduates have been waiting to hear since I approached the podium. In conclusion. In conclusion, I offer you my warmest congratulations, and I wish each of you all the best in all that you do. And now, by the authority granted to me by the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools, the Alabama State Department of Education, and the Auburn City Schools Board of Education, I hereby declare that you have successfully attained the requirements for graduation and therefore are pronounced as graduates of Auburn High School. Very well done.
Will the class of 2011 please come forward to receive your diplomas?
Alia Isum Abuzeda. Robert Mackenzie Lee Adams. Ross Everett Adams. Amira Heshmet Aglin. Adriana Govea Aguilar. Dong Young An. Mary Todd Alford. Alexis Deanna Allen. Casey Jerome Allen. Melissa Francis Allen. Sharonda Renee Allen. Guion Leah An. Demisha Shavela Anderson. Cornelius Jarrell Andrews. Tamara Deshawn Andrews. Mateo Arenas. Kevin McCarla Armstrong Wright. Ashley Elizabeth Asmuth. Christian Emmanuel Aversano. William Curtis Banks. William David Batchelor. Christian Johannes Bayens. Alexander Thomas Beal. Kelby Ann Beasley. Morgan Benjamin Bell. Hallie Bianca Bentley. Parker Scott Bess. Neil Sashil Babnani. Yusuf Biaz. Max Harrison Birdsong. Alexandra Elizabeth Black. Shelton Dean Bledsoe. Catherine Elizabeth Blythe. Arthur Gert Bunn. Robert Neely Boston. Robin Elaine Bowman. Courtney Anna Boyd. James Andrew Bozeman. Lucy Jane Brock. Thomas Jeffrey Bracken. Taylor Alexandra Bradshaw. Megan Brannon Briggs. Anna Kate Brinkerhoff. Kendall Michelle Brooks. Jaron Cortez Brown. Kayona Ambria Brown. Megan Michelle Brown. Charles Allen Brown. Cody Burns. Kelsey Melena Burt. Courtney LaShawn Butler. Megan Nicole Butler. Samantha Young Butler. Shantavia Jaquan Bird. Hannah Fallon Cagle. Calvin Calhoun. Caitlin Elizabeth Camp. William A. Campbell IV. Jaquavius Akeem Carlton. Kendra Miosha Carpenter. Aaron Brannon Carter. Joshua Paul Carter. Brittany Jaleesa Cartledge. Kayla Marie Cash. Carlin Melissa Chambliss. Kenneth Aaron Chambliss. Jessica Marie Chrisman. Dai Chan. Tanner Matthew Simo. Romanda Letitia Clanton. Griffin Thomas Clark. Joshua Denson Clark. Colin Aiden Clayton. Clinton Robert Cochran. Jared Glenn Commander. Ryan Johnson Connor. Elizabeth Ryan Cordell. Brent Jonathan Coop. Deborah Camille Crosby. Kelly Marie Crowley. Lon Darren Dye. Janina Nicole Darby. Hannah Lee Dawson. Mark Henry De Lorenzo. Thomas Stewart Denny. Adam Gabriel Dorn. James Boyd Douglas. Deshaun Jaquavis Dowdell. Rotavius Rosario Dowdell. Max Joseph Doyle. Dylan Alexander Driggers. Madison Grace Drinker. Dakota Thornton Dirk. Catrice Shantay Dumas. Caleb Jerome Eccles. Charles Hugh Edwards IV. Dustin Ryan Inglet. Coleman Andrew Elkins. Catherine Elizabeth Ellington. Natalie Ann Enlow. Joshua Gilbert Erga. Matthew Logan Ernst. Haley Elizabeth Evans. Kelly Yolanda Ezel. Kanisha Chantel Fairley. Tracy Nicole Farrington. Alexander James Ballou. Christopher Aria Fergus. Aaron Emilio Furman. Kiera Simone Fields. Alexander Stephen Fike. Austin Garrett Fike. Tyreka Shanquez Finley. Avriel Nicole Fleming. Mary Christina Fleming. Latasha Nicole Ford. Britta Janae Fort. Shernarian Frazier. Tierra Chandria Frazier. Danielle Rachel Freeman. Benjamin Chad Furman. William Austin Gamper. Lauren Ashley Gardner. Kristen Nicole Garfield. Ryan Edward Gimble. Jennifer Suzanne Gilbert. Robert Philip Braddock Gillette. Kyle Chambliss Glisson. Patrick Laird Golden. Shapriyanka Chaudhary Ganagantla. Robert Reed Goodman. Jessica Lee Gottesman. Olanda Helena Gray. Jasmine Simone Greathouse. William Cody Groover. Zinzan Paul Guinane. Victor Gutierrez.
Ahmed Abdul Aziz Hamid. Presley Janae Hamrick. Lance Newton Hargrove. Jacorius Amon Harris. Judson Lee Harrison. Emily Ray Hallberg. Monica Renee Hayes. Shannon Nicolette Haygood. Karande TJ Hearn. Kyra Lynn Hearn. Christopher Blake Helmke. Kristen Nicole Henson. Jamie Ashton Herring. Adam Blake Hill. Ethan Martin Hill. Cheryl Marie Hively. Darian Javon Hodges. Ivory Renee Hodges. Dante Jamal Holly. Jamar Jeffrey Holmes. Sydney Camille Holmes. William Wheaton Holt. Michael Tyler Hooks. Taylor Alexandra Hopkins. Trevor Douglas Howard. Anna Elizabeth Howell. Mary Caitlin Hudson. Casey Morgan Huff. Jerry Rashad Hughley. Ivan Dimitri Hughley. Matthew Roland Hutto. Thomas Connor Ingalls. Jacorius Jamal Jackson. Jeremy Anthony Jackson. Amber Lynn Jackson Epting. Michael Frederick James. Hee-Suk Jong. Song Yob Jong. Latrinda Shanice Jernigan. Tequila and Alexandria Jimerson. Alexis Nicole Johnson. Gardner Calvin Johnson. Randall DeMorris Johnson. Rodney Kendall Joyner III. Adrian Danielle Jones. Emmeline Annette Jones. Callie Elizabeth Jones. Lamarcus Sharman Jones. Spencer Allen Jones. Michael Jamon Jordan. Odetta Tramise Jordan. Andrew Munyan Zhang. Caitlin Elise Judd. Soleong Kang. Jennifer Brooke Kiesel. Jordan Kayam Kettering. Alexandra Bahar Kodadati. Ashley Colton Kicklider. Olivia Ruth Kite. Baiula Kim. Changkyung Kim. Dam Kim. Yunho Kim. Moonhyun Kim. James Ray Kimbrough. Jasmine LaShonda King. Taylor Edward King. Keontavius Marquez Kirk. Jill Elizabeth Kleist. Carrie Elise Klinkhammer. John Alexander Klenner. Asia Noel Knowles. David Robinson Constant. Victoria Grace Lamb. Christian Ryan Langford. Connor Haig LaRock. Stephen David Larson. Michael Allen Lashley. Dasom Lee. Seung-mi Lee. Tammy Angela Lee. Pierce Yvonne Lefebvre III. Joshua Allen Link. Joseph Will Leslie. Catherine Ansley Lester. Margaret Claire Leverett. Kendra Lamone Levitt. Morgan Brianna Lewis. Elizabeth Hui Yi Lim. Joshua Caleb Little. Lena Gao Liu. Lisa Gao Liu. Anna Maria Locke. Chelsea Reynolds Lawley. Alan Baker Long. Michael James Longnecker. Melanie Nicole Love. Feliciana Martinique Lowry. Sean Edward Lucas. Elizabeth Christian Lewick. Casey Lee Mackey. Tatum Mackenzie Manning. Sean Darius Marcus. Khadijah Latrice Martin Burks. Marissa Lynn Martinez. Grant Jefferson Massey. James Herbert Masters. William Wallace Masters. Salome Elizabeth Matthews. Quintoria Monet Matthews. Amy Marie McCall. Garrett Brink McCroskey. DeMarcus Martrez McCurdy. Megan Alexandra McMullen. Jesse Lee Meinhardt. Russell Chase Melton. Uriel Mendoza. Shaquita Shante Menifee. Jadez Menifee. Lucky Karima Egnan Milad. Joshua Darian Miller. Meg Elizabeth Miller. Megan Elizabeth Miller. Fabian Deshaun Mitchell. Kimberly Jane Mixon. Lauren Ayers Moffitt. Megan Catherine Molnar. Osmond Kenyon Moore. Jessica Darshell Moore. Criteria Shantez Moore. Victor Lewis Morgan. James Wyatt Morris. Martarius Dion Moss. Nicholas Cole Mount. Lauren Ashley Mullins. Alexander Bryce Murray. Chelsea Ray Neese. Sarah Hayden Newman. Brenda Dunn Nguyen. Tammy Thee Nguyen. Jeremy Pierce Nolan. William Jackson Norman. Justin Blake Norris. James Nicholas Oliver. Jessica Lynn Oswalt. Natalie Jewel Owens. Mitchell Thomas Paget. Peter Lee Jacquemart Palmer. Lauren Yelarm Park. Devin Lane Parker. Stephen Michael Parsons. Jamichael Irvin Payne. Lauren Elise Peak. Christopher David Perry. Jessica Nicole Perryman. Harrison Grant Peterson. Grace Ann Phillips. James Jackson Phillips. Paul Andrew Pinion. Megan Ann Piper, Anna Lauren Poe, Bodio Alugbenga Papula, Kara Lynn Powell, Jordan Nicole Prater, Samuel Allen Price, Desmond Chernard Herter, William Sharman Abels Pilot, Donald Vernon Rayburn, David Henry Richard Rayleigh, Samantha K. Rainey, Melanie Virginia Ray, Frank Bishop Reeves, John Willard Rice, Vashawn Lene Rice, Kendrez Dwayne Richardson, Jonathan Pelly Rydell, Sydney Bishop Riddle, Patrick David Roberts, Colette Conroy Robichaux, Asanya Shaki Robinson, Celeste Monique Rogers, Benjamin Tony Ross, Kelly Elizabeth Roy, Kaylin Marie Royer, Rachel Dean Rubin, Matthew James Ruffing, Vanessa Turner Runquist, Haley Elizabeth Rusk, Jaron Logan Rusk, Carter Lee Sayers, Desney Ariane Scaife, James Hanson Schultz, Kiara Simone Scott, Raytarian Shaylin Scott, Shamarian Olin Scott, Yu Sun Seo, Abigail Rose Sapansky, Whitney Nkechi Shannon, Kenneth Painter Sharpless, Hannah Elizabeth Shaw, Reed Shiver, Andrew Jacob Sickens, William Corley Sims, Alicia Ray Francis Smith, Dylan Shane Smith, Eldrin Jamal Smith, Kristen Lee Smith, Latanya Monique Smith, Lexus Octaviano Smith, Patrick Collier Smith, Ryan Webster Smith, Tashayla Charvel Smith, Taquavius Tyrell Smith, Maisa Sultana Sohail, Alex Reynolds Sompi, David Ho Song. Corey Thomas Spicer. Michael James Stand Gravois. Daniel Brett Stark. Gregory Thane Steltonpole. Caroline Elizabeth Ruth Stevens. Alexander Lane Strickland. Kayla Elise Strickland. Kala Suhaila. Catherine Virginia Sullivan. Spencer Andrew Sullivan. Elania Ame Summerfield. Hannah Lee Swain. Isaac Syed. Hannah Tang. Christina Grace Tatum. Mark Carlton Tatum. Abby Jordan Taylor. Isabel Alexandra Taylor. Trenton Taylor. Timothy Bryant Terrell. Kayla Nicole Thrower. Chad Leon Tidwell. Sharon Ting. Hudson Joseph Toothaker. Daniela Bridget Toro Shamera. Margaret Mary Alice Touchton. Brittany Elise Truitt. Kendall Carolise Trupp. Alexander Elliott Trussell. Laura Elizabeth Tucci. Deshawn Lachey Turner. Taylor Sanders Turner. Raven Nicole Tutt. Tiffany Elise Twilley. Charlena Onisha Tyner. Jeremiah Demaz Tyson. Corey Lynn Venable. Juan Manuel Venegas. Mason Thomas Wachter. Brannon Clark Wallace. Madeline Page Walsh. John Scott Walters. Olivia Morgan Ward. Zachary Watson. Carrie Brandon Way. Jason Cortez Webb. Kyron Altrez Welch. Clara Christine West. Sonora Mae Wheeler. Bradley Lamar White. Sierra Marie Wilkinson. Elgerondo Toledo Williams. Janance Alonzier Williams. Crystal Denise Williams. Patrick Douglas Williams. Rachel LaShawn Williams. Seth Edward Williams. Thomas Hardy Williams. Xavier Lamar Williams. Whitney Simone Willis. Mason Jared Wilson. Brannon Paul Winter. Houston Thomas Woods. Joshua Williams Woods. Stephen Brandon Woods. Bradley Russell Rage. Samantha Shea Wright. Kevin Aaron Shue. Andrea Catherine Young. Leah Rebecca Zutter. Sydney Sierra Potter. Ashley Anise Jeter. Carol Melissa Reynolds. Courtney Jaquan Bass.
Would you please rise for the singing of our alma mater? Our alma mater, Auburn High, we love to roam thy halls, where knowledge grows and friendship glows within thy dear old walls. You showed us how to make our way with steadfast faith in thee, to live aright from day to day in truth and loyalty. We offer you our song of praise as days go drifting by. We'll always cherish memories of dear old Auburn.